I used to think betrayal came with shouting, slammed doors, or some dramatic breaking point. But mine arrived in the softest, calmest voice, spoken over a plate of glazed carrots. You should start looking for somewhere else to live. That's all my mother said. No hesitation. No emotion. Just a sentence sharp enough to slice through me cleaner than the knife she used on the roast I bought. For a moment I couldn't breathe. The lights on the tree flickered behind her like they were mocking me, and the cinnamon-scented air suddenly felt suffocating. My aunt froze mid-chew. My cousin stared into his glass. My younger brother stared at his hands like they held the answers. I didn't say a word. I didn't trust my voice not to break. Because in that moment it wasn't disappointment I tasted. It was the bitter shock of realizing I had just been evicted from the home I was keeping alive with my own two hands. Before I go on, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I want to know I'm not alone in this. And after you hear the whole story, tell me what you would have done. A year before that night, things were different. I had a tiny apartment downtown. A place so quiet I could hear the hum of the fridge at night. I loved it. I had plants on the windowsill, a chipped wooden desk I sanded myself, and second-hand chairs I restored over weekends. My life smelled like coffee and new beginnings. I was stable, independent, safe. Then one night my mother called, her voice shaking like each word was slipping out of her grip. Luca, the house, your father's house, we're about to lose it. That house wasn't perfect. The roof leaked. The hallway creaked. But my father's handwriting still framed the doorway where he measured our heights. His old jacket still hung in the closet, smelling faintly of pine soap. I couldn't stand the thought of losing all of that, so I did what she said no one else could do. I left my little sanctuary, broke my lease, packed everything in 2 days, and moved back home. She cried when I walked through the door, hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. She whispered, "You saved us, Luca." For a while, I let myself believe it. But weeks turned into months and gratitude turned into expectation. Mortgage. I paid it. Groceries? Me. Utilities? Me. Internet upgrades? Me. The fancy lotion she insisted she needed for her nerves? Also me. Every time I asked if she was looking for work, she sighed like I'd asked her to climb Everest barefoot. My brother would pat my shoulder and say, "She's stressed, man, give her time." I gave her a year. The shift wasn't sudden. It was slow and suffocating, like water rising around your ankles without you noticing. Until you're drowning. Nati started with the Wi-Fi point one night. While I was solving a server crisis for work, she marched into the hallway with arms crossed. "Ever since you moved your work setup in, the whole house lags. I can't watch my shows. You need to fix whatever you did." Her shows. On the upgraded plan I paid for. Then came the chores. I'd get home after a full day, the dishwasher light blinking, and she'd say casually, "Perfect. You can unload it, my back hurts today." Funny how her back never hurt when she went shopping with friends. By early December, the house didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like a weight pressing down on my chest. I told myself Christmas would fix things, that maybe sitting together around a warm meal would remind us of something real, so I cooked the entire dinner myself. Bought the expensive ingredients. Wrapped little gifts. Tried to rebuild something I wasn't sure existed anymore. And then midway through carving the turkey, she dropped the bomb. "You should start looking for somewhere else to live." Just like that. My aunt stared at her plate. My brother swallowed hard. And I sat there realizing I was disposable. I stood up quietly. No yelling. No drama. Not the meltdown she would later claim I had. I walked to the old bedroom I hadn't slept in since I was 15, sat on the edge of the bed, and waited for tears. None came. All I felt was a hollow stillness. Like the moment after a storm when everything is strangely quiet. I pulled out my old suitcase, wiped off the dust, and packed only what mattered. Clothes. Laptop. A few keepsakes. Nothing from the life that had been draining me. I booked a motel across town. Hit confirm. The notification felt like air filling my lungs for the first time in months. I left when the house was silent. Snow was falling in slow spirals under the street lamp, making everything look softer than it felt. I didn't look back. The motel smelled like old carpet, but it was the first place in a year where I could set something down without being accused of being in the way. I slept for 10 hours straight. I waited for someone to notice I was gone. Nothing. Day 1. Day 2. Day 3. Silence speaks. Sometimes it screams. On the 4th day my brother texted, You won't believe what Mom is saying about you. Suddenly, I was the villain in a story I didn't write. According to her, a shattered plate, screamed at her, stormed out, left her penniless. She even started calling relatives, collecting sympathy like currency. I didn't fight back. Not yet. Arguing in private would just give her more material. So I let her dig the hole deeper. Eventually, word reached my out-of-state aunt. She called, voice dripping with judgment. I heard you had a tantrum on Christmas. How could you abandon your mother like that? I almost laughed. Almost. But instead I let the lies run their course. And then, I opened my laptop. Under the dim motel light I wrote everything down. A clean timeline. No insults. No rage. Just facts. Every bill I paid. Every month I kept the house afloat. And the truth about Christmas Eve, that I left quietly after being told to. I ended it with one line. I'm safe. And I hope the truth helps us all move forward. I posted it. Turned off my phone. Slept. The next morning my notifications exploded. Messages from cousins, aunts, uncles, people who suddenly realized the story wasn't as simple as she made it. My cousin wrote, I knew something was wrong. Another messaged, your mother never mentioned any of this. Are you okay? Even my judgmental aunt backpedaled. I didn't know the full story. I'm so sorry. But the one person who didn't message, my mother. Not that day. Not the next. Not until a week later, when I moved into a small studio apartment with big windows and cheap flooring that somehow felt richer than anything at home. She knocked on my door holding a store-bought pie like it was a peace offering. I heard you moved here, she said. Thought I'd bring dessert. I stepped outside and shut the door behind me. Calm. Clear. Did you come to apologize? I asked. Her smile faltered. Well, I don't think I need to apologize. We both made mistakes. But that post you made embarrassed me. There it was. Not remorse, just wounded pride. This isn't about embarrassment, I said. It's about how quickly you pushed me out when I stopped being useful. She stiffened. So that's it? After everything I've done for you. After everything I did for you, I corrected. You told me to leave. So I did. She stared at me, really looked at me for maybe the first time in years. And saw someone she couldn't guilt trip anymore. I stepped back. Take care of yourself, I said, and closed the door. No anger. Just finality through the peephole. I saw her hesitate, set the pie on the floor and walk away. I didn't pick it up. Inside, my apartment was quiet and golden with late afternoon light. That silence felt like peace, not punishment. Life got calmer after that. My own bills. My own rhythm. My own space. My brother started visiting, asking how I knew it was time to leave. One afternoon he whispered, she's turning on me now. I squeezed his hand. When you're ready, I'll help you pack. And for the first time in years, I wasn't afraid. Here's what I learned. Love without respect is dependency. Family without boundaries is a cage. And sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is walk away quietly and let the truth speak.